So this is my 5 highest percentage takedowns. Okay, you guys? So first things first, I'm gonna start with the club. All right, now what the club is, you go up to this guy, he's not touching you at all yet. You have to move his head. You have to make sure you make his head move every time you do this, because the second you start the setup, that's when the move starts. And you do not stop until you finish, okay? So I'm gonna club his head. I'm getting a T-Rex arm, basically. I'm making my arm as hard as I can. I basically want to punch this kid in the back of the neck. All right, I'm not gonna do this to Nick because I like Nick. At the same time I club his head, I'm lowering my level, I'm shooting forward. The same way. Okay, so he's in a stance, stay in a good stance. Hip posture up. The trick is to make sure you move his head every time you do this. Every single time. Because if you can make sure his head moves, then all of his guards are down for like half a second, and that's your time to work. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna club the back of his head, and as I'm coming down with the club, I'm falling to the ground, okay? So I club, and then this back leg straightens out to a shot. So from a different angle, all my power is coming from this back leg. You see how my leg is almost always 80% straight? What's the easiest part on a leg press? The last, like when you're finally just like the last little bit, that's where all your strength is coming from. That's where all your speed is coming from, because that is the most explosive like part of your leg, right? So as you're clubbing, you're going down and just exploding into his legs. And then you're running and keeping good pressure. All right, so number 2, my second highest percentage takedown. In high school wrestling, one of the most common things people do is they like to post. And if they post with their lead leg, you can hit this almost every time. Okay, he posts on me. I have to break it free and do an arm drag. As soon as I grab his tricep, I am dropping to the ground like the one before, okay? So with the tricep grab, I'm falling, right? This guy is gonna post on me with the same leg he leads with, okay? Then the second I feel his post, I'm going for an arm drag, and I'm catching this tricep. The second this hand touches this tricep, I am dropping to the floor at 10 meters per second squared. I fall, right? All right, and you guys can already see where this is going from here. Okay, like it goes from right here to right there, really fast. And the second I fall, my back leg straightens out to launch me forward. Okay, so it's gonna look like this. You just straighten out that back leg. You have to go from where you are to his leg as fast as you can, right? Because he's gonna try, like, the second he feels you breaking that arm free, he's gonna be sprawling, okay? Excuse me. As I'm falling, I'm pulling his arm down with it, okay? If you can catch the arm, that's perfectly fine. If you can't, forget it. This is a very explosive move. These moves, you have to explode with all you got. As soon as you decide that you are setting up this shot, that is when the shot begins, and you have to go 100% the whole time. If he does this, right, so post with that arm, he does this, and I hit it, and he pulls his arm back really fast, I'm still getting the high crotch. I'm still gonna take him down. After I've lowered my level, I do not care what his arm does. I wanna keep it ideally, but if he pulls it out, he's already screwed. Now, my highest percentage takedown number 3, this is the third one, is a lift from a single leg, okay? Now, the most important thing about a single leg is you have to dodge the head and move the hand, right? Those are his 2 lines of defense before you get to his leg, all right? Right? It doesn't matter, I gotta lower my level faster than his head can lower his level, right? So that's the first step to the attack, okay? And then I gotta move his hand, whether it be a post, whether I snap it back, it doesn't matter. You just gotta move his hand out of the way, out of the way. I personally like the posting above, like on the tricep, right above the elbow, and just popping it up. So let's say he posts on me, I pop it up, shoot, my head's in the side, right? I switch my grip, here, get over this side, I go from a single leg, my head's in the side, right? I switch my grip and stand up, and with my hips under me, I use this leg right here as a post. And I lift him up, and I bring him back onto his back. A lot of the time when I'm in a single leg, like it doesn't matter how I set up, I can do a club, I can post the arm out, What matters is I get to the single leg, right? I head's in his side, and I can't take him this way, right? His leg's too far out. I can't take him this way. What I do is I use this bone, I don't know if it's like your femur or whatever this is, I use it like a post, okay? I wrap this arm around, and I wrap this arm around his waist. And then I literally lift him up and back to the side he doesn't have. So what you're doing is you're using this bone right here as leverage to pick him up. You're lifting from above the knee and around the waist. And then you pick him up and drop him to where his legs don't reach, right? I don't pull him forward because he can just put his leg out like that, right? You want to pull him back over this leg that you have, okay? So I do my setup. It doesn't really matter what it is, right? I'm right here. I switch grips to right here. Make sure my hips are under me. That's where all my power comes. Okay? You want to run. Run, get the hips under you, and power up. But in a match, you're just trying to pick him up and land head first on the ground. All right? Because his body is going to break the fall. You're picking up their leg and you're moving their legs away from where they naturally can go, right? So you're holding onto this leg. He can't do any of this. He can't go anywhere like this. So you're bringing him this way. You're trying to bring his legs out this way and flare him and have him land flat on his back. With your head centering your chest, pressure after. This comes from a Russian. And this is another very explosive move. But if you can hit it, like if you get good at hitting it in practice, you can hit it on almost anyone who gives you this. All right, so you start in a stance, right? And to get to the Russian, you want to grab his wrist, pull it, and get the underhook at the same time. Put it in your pocket. You're using your hip for leverage, right? To keep it down. All right? So you have to be from right here to right here really fast. Really, really fast. I grab his wrist and I hit the underhook. He posts on my head. He posts on my head, right? I grab his tricep and I grab his wrist. And I move them behind my hips. Okay, now he's in trouble. Okay. I reach around his head and grab his ear. And with my hips, I explode this way. All right, so we ran out of memory, but so I have leverage on with my hip on his wrist, and I've got a strong underhook, right? He posts on my head. He posts on my head. I have to circle in with him, try and keep my feet in between his feet, right? And then I'm gonna grab his tricep, right? I'm gonna go from tricep. I'm gonna let go of this wrist and grab this wrist and put them both behind my hip. All right, now right here, he's screwed. It's game over. All right, I'm gonna reach around his head, and then with my hips, I'm gonna explode this way. I'm gonna send him flat on his back, okay? I'm gonna go. There's nothing you can do, okay? You take him with his arms and head in a circle down to the mat. All right, and in a real match, you do it way harder. Normally that knocks the breath out of them, and they almost always give up. 5. This is probably the one I get the most because it's like the sneakiest. So what you do is you start in your wrestling stance, right? You get head pressure, you tie up on the neck, and then you bait this wrist out. This wrist just hangs out.
This wrist just hangs out.
And the second you feel him grab your wrist, you're going for a duck. All right. Basically, all my wrist is doing is I got my collar tie, right? I bait it out. He grabs it. I'm just doing a big circle, and I'm looking for his armpit. I'm looking for his armpit to just slide my head under. Okay. So when I do this, get really used to the feeling of getting under someone's armpit and just sliding by and making that shit really tight. You want to keep this the whole time, and you're gonna just spin around until you take him to the ground. It's a duck, all right? First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna get first contact, okay? You're gonna go head to head. You're gonna get collar tied. He's gonna do whatever he wants. Grab my arm, and I'm gonna bait this wrist out, okay? And he's gonna grab it. The second I feel him grab this wrist, I'm going to shoot my knee in between his legs I'm gonna do a big circle with my arm. Like that, okay? So look, I bait it. Let's do it again. I get first contact, I bait this up.
All right, so I'm throwing in a bonus takedown for you guys. It's gonna be my lateral. So typically, when you're defending takedowns in a wrestling match, traditionally you're gonna wanna get your hips back and sprawl down like as fast as possible if you're gonna shoot on me, like sprawling. But I was a lot more of an upper body guy when I wrestled, so instead of sprawling, I like to bait. Leave your hands out forward like this so you can catch them with like underhooks, but bait the takedown. Like, see how wide open my hips are? I'm baiting it. And once he shoots, I got my overhook here. Once he shoots, I'm catching the underhook here. Got my overhook here. I got my hips in a nice, powerful, loaded position. What I'm doing, I'm lifting up on the underhook and up on the overhook at the same time.
And up on the overhook at the same time.
And I'm popping my hips forward at the same time. So it's like, so you use the overhook, underhook, and your hips to pop them up. So if they're on my legs, I bait the hips, they shoot, I catch them, they're on my waist, pop them up. And then from there, they're still driving in, hit the lateral. So show you?
Yeah.
I'm baiting my hips, he shoots it in, pop it up.
Lock.
You see my foot flying through the air?
Yeah. So one more time.
Yeah.
We're wrestling, I'm loading up my hips. Catch it here, pop it up, and sometimes he's not gonna be driving in anymore. My goal was just to get him here. And once we're here, it's like a push-pull game. I push, get him to push. As soon as he pushes, you're falling back over your overhook side and just looking back, falling this way.
And remember, this happens in a very short period of time. This happens in between the time of him, like you have to think about it before he shoots. He has to shoot and it has to happen within like what, a second? Maybe a second and a half?
Sometimes it happens within a second or two, but sometimes you'll just wind up here. And that's the goal, is to get him here so you can throw.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Coach Nick. This has been a bonus section with Nick G. All right, you guys, so that was my 5 highest percentage takedowns. If you like my video, subscribe, hit that like button. Let me know if you want another video. I'll probably get to it. Somebody commented this video yesterday, so I just did it. Peace.